opponent, and you are both like giving hooks, uppercuts, you know, so like it's this upper body that is doing most of the work, okay? Hey champs, welcome back for another video. If you always feel that you are out of range, or you get hit on the way in, or you get hit when you are mid-combination, that means that your range is off. Distance control is the biggest difference between boxers who knows how to punch and an experienced fighter who will dictate when the exchange happens. So today I'm gonna show you how to control your distance, range, when you box, and by default, you'll become a better boxer. Let's get into it. You know, most people think that distance is about footwork. For sure it plays a big part of it, but actually it's not everything. Distance is about deception, it's about footwork and timing. So what I'll do is that I'll go through all these three so you guys understand exactly how to control your distance and how to change your distance within the fight, because if you keep the same range with your opponent, you will just teach them that this is your range and you're going to maintain that range throughout the fight, and by default you're going to get clipped every time that you want to go in or you want to get out, because they will learn what is their difference versus yours, which is constant. If you don't change that, that's when you get hit. So the first one you're going to determine is your three ranges, okay? You're going to have an outside range, which most of the time is going to be your jab, okay? So you are keeping the opponent at bay, or you are just scoring points or throwing some powerful jabs, but that is like your outside range, okay? Then you're gonna have your mid-range. Actually, the mid-range is you are performing a combination. You are like, let's say, jab cross, jab, you slip. In this position here, you wanna throw like a liver shot, okay? So you throw that liver shot and then you get out. After you have performed this 1-2 and you have entered in with a slip in order to throw that liver shot, you actually have entered into that mid-range, okay? So you establish first the long range, okay? And you step in for that liver shot or those hooks to the body for that mid-range. And then you have the third one where you are already close with the opponent, okay? You are next to each other, literally your heads are touching each other, and you are in that mid-range where you are throwing those hooks, okay, and those uppercuts in order to open up the guard. For all three of them, you should be very careful how you position your body and what you do, okay? So for sure, footwork, that's where you're gonna play a big role when you are on your outside jab, okay? Because you are trying to keep at range, you are trying to go in, okay? So that's the footwork where it comes into play. Footwork comes as well when you are going inside, okay? But then upper body gets more involved there because you are trying to get out, you are trying to roll, you are trying to slip at the same time in order to get in. And then you have the close range where you are already inside, and actually most of your body is already like, I don't want to say stationary, but you are moving for sure your knees, but it's your upper body that is making all the movements, and your shoulders especially, to deflect incoming punches, okay? Because most of the time you are there with your opponent and you are both like giving hooks, uppercuts, you know? So like it's this upper body that is doing most of the work, okay? So that's how you determine what movements to incorporate between the three different ranges, okay? One thing you should note regarding the three ranges is that be very careful. Why? When you are in that long range and you are using your jab, what I see most of the time is that people, they throw their jab, and then when they come back, instead of they're coming to their initial position, on their stance position in order to be protected, they lower their guard, okay? Because they think they are out of range. But it's exactly in that moment you can get clipped on, because let's say you are using your jab and a shorter fighter literally can go with a gazelle punch and catch you the moment that you are being distracted. So be very careful there. The second one about the mid-range is this is where most of the fighters get clipped on, because they stay there for far too long. So what happens is that 1-2, okay, jab again, slip, you throw your combination. Instead of getting out, winning an angle, changing again, what they do is that they keep exchanging in that mid-range. And that's when their opponent clips them. So be very careful there. And now regarding the close range, is that do not be there if you do not know how to exchange punches in close range. If you don't know how to move your upper body, if you don't know how to move your shoulders, your head movement, your hand placement, do not be there, because literally you can have punches coming from anywhere. You can have overhead punches who will hit you at your temple, which is extremely dangerous. So you should be very careful and slip correctly and roll and deflect the punches with your shoulders and all. So don't be there if you don't know how to exchange, okay? So this is what I would say for the 3 ranges. Be very careful. Now remember at the beginning of this video I said that distance is about positioning, timing, and deception. Well, let's go back to the deception part. Feints. You're gonna use feints in 2 case scenarios. You're gonna use feints to actually check what your opponent, what is the reaction, to get the reaction out of your opponent, okay? So you actually you're gonna feint your opponent like you are throwing a punch, not because you wanna scare them or something, you literally wanna get their reaction, what they will do, okay? So if you throw a feint to the body, what is their movement? If you try to throw a feint upstairs, do they retract their body? Do they move backwards? Do they move to the side? That is actually the first purpose. Check their reaction. The second one is that you're gonna use deception to close your range and to get into their range where they think that they are safe. Let me explain you. Let's say you feint upstairs and your opponent has a habit of taking 1 step back. Then you try it again. You feint again upstairs and you see their reaction. If they do the same thing over and over again, you use that reaction of your opponent to close in. So let's say you feint, they move backwards, okay? So what you do is that next time that you throw a punch or you feint, literally use that momentum to gain 1 step on him, where they think that they got out of range, but actually by feinting, you are not staying in your position, you are feinting and taking a step. So they think that they got out, but actually you maintain the same distance with feinting. So they are still in your range, yeah? So let's say they move to the side. After you do a combination or you feint to do a combination, they have a habit to do a pivot or an L step, okay? So what you do is that in that moment, you know that if you feint in that certain way, they're gonna move there to the side. So what you do, you cut them off and then you throw a punch. So actually you're using feints, you're decepting to get a reaction, and by that reaction, you gain inches, you gain distance on your opponent while they think that they are safe. You see what I mean? Now let's jump into another part of this video which is crucial. Head movement and footwork. Head movement, most of the time what I see is that some guys have great upper body movement. The problem is that or they stay static, same positioning, or they don't move enough. You have to incorporate both of them together. So what I do, I add small steps to it. For example, if I do a roll, the next roll I'm going to do, I'm going to roll and take a step to the side so I can come with more punches, okay? So let's say here and then here. So I'm literally doing the same movement, I'm just adding more steps to it. So for example, I'm slipping. I'm here, I'm not really moving from my place, but I can slip here, and from that position, footwork, and I can come again with another punch. Slip again, footwork, with another combination. You see, I incorporate both of them together in order to be a moving target. So how can you practice these 3? Well, one of your best friends out there is going to be yourself. Shadowboxing. You're literally gonna, let's say you do 3 rounds, and those 3 rounds, in the first round, you're gonna focus on your long range. Second round, you're gonna do combinations where you focus on your mid-range. And the third one, you're gonna focus on your close range. And actually what you do then on top of that, you add one more round, and you add all of these together, okay? Or you can even actually add more rounds where you say, I will not throw any punches, I will just be in my defense. I will slip, I will roll with a step, I will do certain footwork in order to learn all these angles and how can I move around the ring. So practice and practice and practice. And for example, if you are sparring with an opponent and you are there to learn, because sparring is for that, be sure first of all to have a coach there present, so both of you guys can be first technical and can learn and not there just to hit each other. And second is that say to your opponent, what are we going to focus on those 4 rounds? If it's just sparring to spar and it has no real technical outcome out of it, I don't calculate it like a good sparring. But if you are there with your opponent, you say, okay, let's focus on our jab the first round, okay? I'm gonna just throw my jab, you're gonna throw yours, and we're gonna try to block. You're gonna try to slip, you're gonna try to be out of that range, you're gonna try to close it. And that's what you guys are working, both of you guys. If you are shadowboxing, you just focus on your jab and you get out of range and you do those head movements. Second one, you say to your opponent, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna work on the mid-range and we're gonna get out, okay? So everybody gonna throw a combination and we get out. So that's how you're gonna train. You can do the same on the heavy bag. You can do the train on a water bag. You can do the same with a speed bag or a cobra bag. On the mitts with your coach. So really focus on training those 3 ranges before even you think that you can just go hard into a sparring or into a fight. So, to recap it, if you control the distance and the range, you will control the fight. You will control how that fight will play out. Because most of the times I hear, how do I deal with short fighters? How do I deal with taller fighters? The thing is that if you yourself you can manage those 3 ranges, you know how to control your distance within those 3 ranges, you can fight against anybody. You're a taller fighter, your weapon is going to be your jab, because you're against a shorter fighter, for example. You are a shorter fighter, your weapon is going to be your mid-range to your close range. So you use that footwork and the defensive movements to get inside, okay? So really, you try to train all of them 3 together, and no matter the opponent you have in front of you, you know how to deal with them. See what I mean? I hope this kind of video is what you guys are searching for. I'm doing my best to bring videos weekly, so do not hesitate to like the video, to subscribe to the channel, and follow for the journey. Thank you again, get up and train. Let's go, champ. Boost!